Hello Whovians, welcome to Doctor Discussions. This is the first official episode with a guest.
Hi guys, how are you? Well, they won't be able to answer that, but hello, my name's Robert.
He was... Well, let's just start the discussion. So, so first of all, before we get into the main topic, we're going to look at the news today. Well, not today, this week. We've got David Tennant wanting to come back, which ain't anything new, that's just plain. We've got just pretty much all about David Tennant wanting to come back for the 60th anniversary. So, in other news, is why I wanted a guess, is that there was rumours that were released that Jodie Whittaker and Christian Bale both left Doctor Who. And would you have thought they were true?
Well, I mean, it wasn't the best start-up season and a lot of people didn't like her as a Doctor. But, I mean, they have only just started and they've left on a lot of cliffhangers. And I think that because they've only just started, they can't really stop now if they're midway through a story.
Yes, and then the rumour got out of hand with a Twitter user had heard them outside the window, because this user apparently lived in Cardiff, saying that they're both fed up and they both just walked off. And then there was another rumour that also same day said that there was supposed to be a random announcement in Act 2, which was basically just saying that it was all a bunch of nonsense. But because it got so out of hand, it was on the radio. So what do you think of Twitter users making up lies?
Well, sometimes Twitter is quite a good place to find out what's going on, when's it going on, why is it going on, and I think just sometimes people put on what they think rather than what they know.
Yes, but the Twitter user was talking about how she apparently heard them arguing from outside the window.
But how do we know that this wasn't true?
Because it was all a pack of nonsense, because an insider said that none of it is true and no one at the BBC knew a thing about it.
Well, at the time nobody knew that, so that was the biggest truth going through it, so...
Yeah. And in other news, what do you think of the idea of David Tennant returning for the 60th anniversary?
I think it'd be good. I think it's always good when an old actor comes back, and it's like, for instance, I really liked Time of the Doctor and Day of the Doctor, and I think having all these is quite a good thing to do.
But David Tennant said in an interview for I think it was like the 15th anniversary of the Time of the Doctor, which was in America, which was an anniversary special where they showed it in the cinemas. And what had happened was, in an interview, David Tennant did say that he would want to come back, but sadly he won't be able to work with John Hurt anymore. What do you think of that? Because sadly John Hurt passed away. I don't think it was last year, I think it was the year before.
Well, that's just him saying that he really liked working with John Hurt, and it is quite sad that he's gone, but even then, they can still make a good partnership, him and new one.
Yeah, and in major news that I really like, that I wanted to share, was that Russell T Davies and John Hurt have discussed...
John Barrowman.
What?
John Barrowman.
Yeah, John Barrowman have discussed that about a Torchwood movie, and David and Billy would return. And I want to know your opinion, because the Torchwood movie would lead off from the end of Miracle Day, that was an horrendous series, because it just turned into a cop drama, because somehow they went to America, the CIA were involved, and I think he's called Rex Tyler, is now immortal. So what do you think of a Torchwood movie starring Billy and David?
Well, as long as they were there as the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler, then I reckon it'd be quite good. Well, it's quite nice to see crossovers.
Yeah, and do you reckon it'd be a good film with Captain Jack and Gwen Cooper and Rex Tyler and David as the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler?
I think it'd be really good.
And we'll be right back in a second. And we are back. So where we left off was, would you want to see Torchwood coming back, or were you not really into Torchwood?
I've never really watched Torchwood, but apparently from what I've heard it was quite good. And plus, anyway, stuff like crossovers might get me into Torchwood as a series and go back and watching that.
Yeah. Well, I think it'd be really good for it to come back in a film, but if Rex Tyler was in it, well, that'll be a different story completely, because it'll be odd, it'll be bizarre, because they have to involve the CIA, because Rex Tyler's a CIA agent. But I wish if they had to end Torchwood, they could have ended it at the end of Children of Earth, because Captain Jack just left. He left, and that was a perfect ending. But Torchwood isn't the same anymore, because sadly we lost Yanto. Spoilers if you've never seen Torchwood, but so most of Torchwood are all gone. So it's the difference, because the Doctor's never has met Yanto in a crossover when they had Sarah Jane, Sarah Jane, Luke, Sarah Jane Smith, Luke and Mr. Smith, the Billy and all the a load of companions from New Who were all there, and it was a massive crossover. And the Doctor met Yanto and Gwen. And what would it be different? Would it be a different experience, because the American Rex Tyler's never heard of the Doctor before?
Well, like many crossovers, most of them have heard of each other before. Most people have heard of the Doctor, so I reckon it wouldn't necessarily be a problem.
And do you think the film would be different because of Series 5 of Torchwood was a thing, but in audio form? So Big Finish, which is a big audio workers, they did Torchwood Series 5. Do you reckon it'll be a bit different now, bringing the 5th series of audios onto TV? Like back into the screen, from being a TV show to an audio drama, back to a TV, into a film. Do you reckon that'll be a different environment? Because most people wouldn't have heard the audio dramas.
Yeah, but then you get people that are diehard fans who disagreeing with it all, saying that it's not like the original or all that kind of stuff. And I don't think they'll want the hassle.
No, well, me personally, I haven't heard Series 5 yet, but I think it's a bit different. And so in other news, let's go delve down deep. Would you say that a crossover is good in some ways? Because I want to know your opinion on The Clangers, which was a children's show, which is returned not so long ago, mixing with Doctor Who in merchandise form. What's your opinion in that?
Well, in merchandise form, it's brilliant for both businesses. Because, well, it'll be the Clangers.
The Clangers, which is the BBC CBeebies show.
Well, they'll benefit greatly from Doctor Who because it's so popular. So.
And I don't think they'll ever do a TV reunion, because the Doctor talks and the Clangers just whistle.
Okay.
Yes. And yeah. So what else in news? We've had Comic-Con recently, and what do you think of the idea of Doctor Who being at Comic-Con?
I think it's good. I mean, it's another way to get publicity across, and it's a great TV series. So going to them kind of events will mean that the TV series will benefit more from more people.
And our final piece of news for this episode is there's going to be an improved Doctor Who musical at this year's Edinburgh Festival.
Yeah, and apparently it's going to be improvised as well.
Oh, improvised. Improvised.
That should be good. Should be yet another thing
and interesting
to add to the
roster,
the portfolio for the TV series, so it should be good.
And it should be laughs, and it should be drain.
Laughing like a drain.
Laughing like a drain, yes. And what do you think of references in Marvel movies to Doctor Who? Have you noticed any?
I think it's quite fun way of doing it, and quite it brings films into like real life, if you know what I mean. It makes you go, oh, well, it must be real because of this.
Did you get any of the references in any of the latest Marvel movies?
No, or I have, and I've just not remembered.
Well, in Avengers Endgame, if you've not yet seen it, spoilers. When they do the time travel, they call it the time something. Like, you know when they do the time travel scene to go back, they call it the time prison or something. But that's an episode of Doctor Who.
I think that, well, it's very clever of them if they've made that reference.
Yeah, and then when Peter Parker goes, he says, "I don't want to go."
Right. Okay.
So no, I don't feel too good, which is what the Doctor, is David Tennant's final line. I don't feel too good, and then
I don't want to go.
yeah, he says I don't feel too good, and then he says I don't want to go. So I mean, wait,
Yeah, potentially.
hang on. Doctor Who in Marvel movie. Right. Doctor Doom. Anyway, Doctor Who reference. Right. Reference. Right. Here we go. Let's go onto the news. Ha, here we are. This is right, so in Back to the Future's co-writer on the Avengers Endgame, the Avengers Endgame time travel and stuff, especially right in the right. Wait, hang on. Let me wait and no, let me find it. Where is it? But yeah, Back to the Future's co-writer. Oh, wrong one. Ah, got it. I mentioned it in one of my other episodes. The Time Heist. That was it. It's an episode in series it's either series 9 or 10 of Doctor Who with Peter Capaldi. And then I'm going to do Doctor Who reference. Peter Parker. Right. This will. Right. Wait. Those are no wrong. What? Yes. Right. Now the next bit of news will be delivered. The bit about the Marvel will be delivered by my special guest.
Okay. Just looking for it.
We are do. Right, read that.
Yeah, no, it is the 10th Doctor's. He just says, I don't want to go. And Spider-Man says he don't want to go. So, yeah, David Tennant and
Peter Parker are. And I think one day the Doctor should cross over with Marvel. Do you agree?
I think it'd be hard to, because seeing as they already have like a time wizard, time boss in the form of Doctor Strange, I think.
Yes, but
it'll probably be against a lot of people's best interests.
But most crossovers will be similar and easy to, because Marvel created Transformers, and yes, they did. All the comics for Transformers were all Marvel. So
yeah, but I reckon it would be too hard to do for something like that.
So thank you for my special guest Robert for joining me in this fabulous episode of Doctor Who discussions.
Well, thank you very much for letting me come on.
Have you enjoyed your time?
Yes, I have.
So anyway guys, thanks for watching, and if you were watching this on video, thank you, and leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're watching this on audio, make sure to press the subscribe button on iTunes, on the podcast app, or wherever you get your podcasts, so you can listen to more episodes of Radio Epic on This is Doctor Discussion. Time out. Bye!
See ya. Bye.
Woo! La 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 la.